Welcome to our aging puzzle. I am your host, Carlette DeVoe. Our show is about aging and how it affects all of us. We will have one-on-one conversations with guests from all walks of life that have been impacted by life and aging. Whether they are seniors, middle-aged, young folks, we're going to bring all their stories to you. We want to have an opportunity to hear and to listen to stories that will move us all to tears, make us laugh, inspire us, and just give us insights on so many topics, health problems, and ways to live a healthier, longer life. It is our absolute pleasure to welcome this month. Our guest for this month's show is Anthony McPhee. We are deeply honored to have him here as we delve into his remarkable journey of living with sickle cell disease. Remember last week, we had the privilege of getting a glimpse into the beginnings of his story and his initial encounters with his condition. Well, we also heard his heartfelt acceptance from his mother. She loves him dearly, and she has accepted him and embraced him and supports him, and so does his family. Anthony's journey serves as a living testament to the unwavering strength of the human spirit and the remarkable power of resilience when faced with life's challenges. His life's narrative embodies incredible courage, determination, and an enduring sense of optimism and hope. Over the decades, he has not only navigated the intricacies of this complex condition, but has also selflessly shared his experiences to inspire and offer support to fellow members of the sickle cell community. This month, we learn more about sickle cell disease, and we hear more of Elder Anthony McPhee's story. Remember, every month there will be one guest, and this month we have Anthony McPhee as our guest for the entire month. Our guest is going to walk you through their story. First week, they're going to share with us the big reveal. How did they learn and hear about the news? Second week, we always focus on treatment options. And the third week, we want to hear about the actual treatment. Was it effective? How was it? The side effects? What was it like? And the fourth week, we want to hear the outcome of treatment. We want to hear how they are doing today. How are they doing? And what are they doing differently? So join us every week to hear our guests share their inspiring stories to you. And our guest this month is Elder Anthony McPhee. Now, it's time for aging facts. Let's talk about aging facts. Now, we are entering the fall season. It's not just the crisp temperatures and the pumpkin spice that we should be aware of, but we should also think about seasonal increases in cases like respiratory viruses like RSV, COVID, influenza. Remember last year, these three viruses combined created what was referred to as the triple-demic. Yep, pandemic, triple-demic. I mean, we can't just get rid of the demics at all, can we? And the triple-demic overloaded the healthcare system and caused a lot of hospitalization to surge during the fall and the winter months. Now, we need to stay protected. So protecting against severe cases, especially for vulnerable populations, including those with sickle cell disease, the elderly, we need to be sure that we protect them. Now, thankfully, there are updated versions of vaccines that are now available to safeguard against these vaccines. And certain groups, including the aged, over 65, individuals with compromised immune systems or underlying lung conditions, and pregnant individuals, that we need to be sure that they are safe. So for COVID and the flu, pregnancy outcomes can be worse, making vaccines for those people, for those pregnant women, crucial. We want to be sure that the vulnerable, the immune compromised, the pregnant, the elderly, we want to make sure they're all safe. So please take the vaccine and be safe, and we want you to be okay. So that's our recommendation. We are not the CDC, but I will tell you that the CDC does recommend the shots for the following groups, and here they are. If you are 60 years of age or older, they recommend COVID-19, flu, and RSV vaccines. If you are children and adults between the ages of 6 months and 59 years, they recommend COVID-19 and the flu vaccines. And babies up to 8 months, they recommend RSV antibody. So in summary, this fall is an exceptional time for vaccines that can shield us from the triple threat of respiratory viruses, from the flu and COVID-19 to the groundbreaking RSV vaccine and antibodies. Taking these steps can help you and your family and loved ones, protect you against risk, ensuring a healthier and safer season for all of us. So go ahead, take the plunge, get your vaccine, and be safe. Remember, our topic for this month is Understanding Sickle Cell Disease, a Journey of Hope. Today, we would like to discuss this condition and the remarkable strength of those who face it, like my cousin, Anthony McPhee. It is essential to understand that they can vary from person to person. Sickle cell is different from one person to another, and so it makes their journey unique. Remember last week we discussed how sickle cell disease can be identified through various tests, including newborn screening. Early diagnosis is crucial for preventing potential complications. The symptoms may include anemia, which is common among all types of sickle cell disease. It can also affect growth, energy, endurance, and especially in children, as they grow up, they can be affected with this disease. So watch your children, get diagnosed early. One of the things that's really significant about sickle cell disease is the painful episodes. These painful episodes, called pain crisis, can occur when blood vessel is blocked by sickle-shaped cells. They are blocked by sickle-shaped cells, and these can be felt in various parts of the body. Acute chest syndrome is another serious complication. It occurs when sickle-shaped cells block the flow of oxygen to the lungs, leading to symptoms resembling pneumonia. And community and support play a vital role in this journey. So get support from your family, your friends, your loved ones, so they can share in this journey with you and support you. And with proper knowledge and the support of health care teams, you will make it through the challenging times, the peaks and the valleys, you will, with this disease. Remember, the treatments aim to relieve symptoms and prevent complications. The treatments range from penicillin to prevent bacterial infections, which can significantly reduce side effects. It's also important to ensure that you receive all recommended vaccinations. Vaccines like the annual flu shots are particularly crucial. And many doctors say stem cell transplant and gene therapy are also emerging as promising treatments for sickle cell disease. They offer hope for a cure. They offer hope for a cure. Don't underestimate the whole community and the incredible healthcare teams by our side. They are here to help, and they are working diligently on providing the best possible care for those suffering from sickle cell disease. We're going to get there, y'all. Come on. We're going to get there. There's hope, and our smartest scientists are out there working, and we're looking forward to a breakthrough very, very soon. Now it's time to welcome our special guest today. Our guest is Mr. Anthony McPhee. He was born and raised in Nassau, Bahamas. He went to the United States to pursue his education, where he obtained a Bachelor's of Science degree in mathematics from Oral Roberts University. Mr. McPhee went to his beloved Bahama Island, where he taught for 10 years after he received his degree from Oral Roberts University. Now, during his time in the Bahamas, he felt compelled and he had a passion for learning. So he went to Southern Mississippi University, where he pursued a master's degree in educational leadership. Mr. Anthony is a smart dude. Mr. McPhee and his family eventually left the Bahamas and transitioned to the United States, where they obtained jobs in the teaching profession. Anthony currently works at the Arlington County Public School and he has been there for more than 20 years. After working in the United States for several years, he decided that he wanted to go back to school and do something more. So he pursued a national board certification in mathematics. I said he was a smart dude. And this certification that Anthony has allows him to teach anywhere in the United States. So he has this certification where he is allowed to teach anywhere. Mr. McPhee is actively involved in his local church. He has been an elder for 15 years and is a leader in the prayer and evangelical ministry. He supports local missions by feeding the homeless in the District of Columbia and supporting ministry at the Men's Transitional Center. He is also a huge supporter of international missions in Haiti, Dominica, and Cameroon. Of all of the things that Mr. McPhee has accomplished, he is humbled to call himself a child of God. So please join me in extending a warm and heartfelt welcome to Elder Anthony McPhee. So we have again as our guest Anthony McPhee, my cousin. We're talking about his diagnosis at 1.5, 2 years old with sickle cell anemia. Thank you so much again for joining us, Anthony. Thank you.
It's been a great week. Listen, thank you very much for having me on your show. What an awesome opportunity. And I tell you, I want you to support this show because there's a lot of people out there. Everybody's aging. We all age. The man said, it's time to exit stage left. And we all are going to be exiting stage left or stage right one of these days. So we have to make the best of it and we should age gracefully. Amen.
Absolutely. Aging gracefully and embrace things as you age. You are in control of what you do and how you live your life. What you eat, what you do will affect how you live and how you age. Some things you can control. Like my guest here, Anthony McPhee, was not able to control whether he was diagnosed or whether he got sickle cell anemia. However, he has done a phenomenal job of managing, dealing, and coping with this diagnosis from the age of 1.5 years old. And Anthony is 54 years old, everyone, and he is managing it, dealing with it. And this week, we want to hear from Anthony about the treatment options that he that was recommended by his physician, his family members, as he went through this progression with sickle cell anemia throughout his life. So, Anthony, let's talk about treatment options. What treatments were recommended at 1.5? What treatments were recommended as you aged, and
Hmm.
why were those treatment options recommended as you aged?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Please share with us.
Well, first of all, like I mentioned, they told my mother I needed to start taking folic acids. And I religiously, I've been taking folic acids. Matter of fact, I'm still on folic acid, but the treatment has evolved. But back in the early years, that's the only thing they told me to take. They didn't have no advanced medicine to do this or that. They just said, okay, you need to take your folic acid and don't miss it. Now, keep in mind, let me tell you what folic acid does. It goes into the body and it's a sort of like a vitamin that helps the bone marrow uh, create red blood cells, remanufacture red blood cells. People who say they have sickle cell, their red blood count uh, is typically low. The red blood count is the hemoglobin. So when you would go to the doctor or clinic or do blood work, one of the things that the doctors look at is seeing what your hemoglobin is. Now, typically, in a normal individual, the hemoglobin is 1920. right? In that particular range. Um, for me, when my hemoglobin gets low, that low for me is 6.5. So when it gets low, I could be in danger of a crisis. And I've been, living and dealing with this, that, uh, I know when my body is speaking to me, and if I don't listen, I will learn. you know.
Absolutely.
So the treatment back then was just take folic acid. Not until I recently, well, not recently, but I moved. My wife and I, we moved to the States 2005, and I began to following a blood doctor, and so she was following me, and they came up with this new drug, and this drug is called hydroxyurea. So hydroxyurea is one of those types of drugs where it actually um, goes into the body, and it helps the bone marrow to produce the right type of red blood cells. So it's a genetic medicine that tells the body, hey, you're producing SS. I don't want you to produce SS. I want you to produce SA. So the SS refers to sickle cell. So it tells the body, stop producing these types of red blood cells and then produce this type of red blood cells. And let me tell you something, Colette. You know I love you. I won't lie. If you lie, you begin to die. All through my life, I, had, pain. I would experience crisis. There was no sort of drug I could say I could take it, and I would have to stop having the crisis. I mean, I had crisis. It's sort of crisis where you want to cry, you want to give up, you want to really die. You don't want to experience in this pain. But I tell you, folks, if you're experiencing that, don't give up, because what sickle cells try to do is it mentally attacks your mind to say that you can't deal with it, and this pain is too great. Let me tell you, I've been where you are. I've been at that place where I want to check out. I've been where people said, I can't deal with this. I gotta go. In other words, when I say gotta go, leave the planet. And God forbid, he helped me. My wife helped me. I tell you, I'm so blessed to have a wife who is so supportive in helping me. But when I was taking just the folic acid, I could have had a crisis just walking or standing up. Like if I'm standing up too long, I could end up in a crisis. And then when I say end up in a crisis, I'm talking severe pain, the type of pain where you're crying. I mean, you just can't take it. So when I came to the States, I would still be back and forth with this pain. But when I started taking hydroxyurea, uh, that was a game changer. That was a game changer. And you have to be followed by a doctor to get on this medicine. So you just can't go to the pharmacy and say, I want hydroxyurea. No, it has to be prescribed by a doctor. And please listen to your doctors. All right, God gave doctors information to help the body compensate, to help the body grow, to help the body maintain what it's supposed to do. But let me tell you, when I started taking that drug, um, that was a game changer, because I stopped having crises frequently as I often did.
That's
I'm
awesome.
telling you, I'm telling you. And I was able to do more of some energetic things, like, you know, um, run or do different activities, go bowling. The simple act of going bowling, people might not say, oh, let's go bowling. But back, I couldn't do what everybody did. Anytime I exert energy, that means the blood will flow. If the blood flow, it could possibly be a clogging at some point.
Right.
I remember I was doing an activity, and blood is in your head as well.
Absolutely.
And man, I tell
Wow.
you, I had so a severe pain in my brain. I mean, it was more than a headache. It was like it was. I can't the way how it. If I could describe, you mind if I describe
No, go
sickles,
ahead.
the
Absolutely.
pain, the pain of sickle cell is like um, you putting on 100 belts around your waist, and then you have 1,000 individuals just pulling it and tighten it, and because it's you know um, it hurts your joints, and you can't sleep, you can't walk, you can't get any rest, and it's just bombarding your mind with that pain. And if you're bombarded with such severe pain like that, all you want to do, if you don't have no thing to keep you, say check out, because I can't, I mean, why would we deal with this? But thank God that there's a God in heaven who sits up high and looks down low, and He has given man the opportunity to help us. So one of the things, when I also came over here, before I started taking hydroxyurea, um, I would have those sickle cell crises, and normal painkillers just won't do. I mean, I could take normal painkillers, and it's like eating cornflakes. They just don't work. And one of my doctors had prescribed. The pain was so severe, and my wife was there. She was right there with me. They had to give me narcotics, and they had to give it to me intravenously, and they would give me 4 milligrams of this narcotic to uh, sort of cut off the pain from going to my brain. And so they would give it to me, and I would be fine for 2 hours. And after the 2 hours would, die off, that pain would come right back, and I'd be screaming. I'm telling you, I'll be screaming. And those individuals who have sickle cell, I know what you're going through. People might not understand, but I understand. And when you ask for painkillers, you want painkillers because you wanted the pain to stop, and you wouldn't want. Let me tell you, you wouldn't want this pain to be on your worst enemy. I'm telling you, it is that severe.
Mm. Wow. Pain, treatment options, symptoms of sickle cell anemia. Anthony is telling and sharing his story. The one thing that sticks out to me as Anthony is talking is the care and the affection that I hear him speak and I feel from him when he talks about his wife that has been with him through this journey with sickle cell anemia. And she is my cousin, and I do love her dearly. And we call her
Wonder
Wanda,
Woman.
Wanda Woman, because she is a wonderful, wonderful lady, and she is Wonder Woman, and she supports her husband 100%. So, Anthony, you talked about the treatment. You started off with folic acid. You talked about hydroxyurea,
Mhm.
and then you talked about pain pills, the intravenous pain medication. As you go through this journey with sickle cell, are there any other treatment options that you had available that you did not go with or that you went with? Share with us why you didn't go with something that was offered. And also, is there anything else that our audience out there that someone that has sickle cell may have as an option, and share anything that you can about your knowledge and what you've learned about treatments?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I am so grateful for the United States of America, because being here, has afforded me and my wife to have a have a better lifestyle, have a have access to the medical care that we have been afforded to. And one of the things, my first encounter with another type of treatment was over here. My doctor said she wants to give me a blood transfusion. And let me tell you, I mean, when I first heard about, doing that, I said, ugh, I don't want no blood transfusion. I'm gonna get my blood mixed up with nobody, and I'm gonna have, I'm a Bahamian. I don't want no AIDS, and I don't want nobody blood inside of me, and we got all these different things that that can happen, and say,
I know.
nah,
Y'all ain't blood, nobody else's blood.
you don't get an experiment on me, but
Yep.
you got to have faith in something. And my doctor said, I have a wonderful team of doctors, by the way. And I mentioned to you that when you do a blood work, they look at your hemoglobin, and your hemoglobin, those individuals who have sickle cell might be low. When I do my blood work and I get below 6.5, now 7.5 is like normal for me. That means that I'm not having any crisis. I'm not in danger of any crisis. But now when my blood count gets at 6.5 or lower, your body talks to you, and
Absolutely.
your body talks to you. So my first encounter with a blood transfusion was over here, and I had to go through this experience. I want to, but my wife and I talked about it, and so we made a decision. So that was another treatment, and I tell you, when I got that first blood transfusion, it was like, you remember that cartoon movie, like Popeye the Sailor Man?
Yes.
He would or crack open the spinach jar, and he would put in that in, and he would, oh my goodness,
Yes.
it was like a power pack of nutrients for him.
Yes.
Well, that's how I felt with with that blood transfusion, and so what that does, it helps. So now a blood transfusion is like changing the oil in your vehicle. How often do you normally change your oil in your vehicle? I mean, if you love your vehicle, and if you treat it right, it's going to treat you right. Typically, we would go 3,000 miles. The guy says is recommended for an oil change, and then they got different types of oil, synthetic oil, whatever. But you could tell the difference when your car has an oil change. So that's like sort of like a not an oil change, but it helps the body to, first of all, carry oxygen. What does your blood do? Your blood carries oxygen to the various parts of your body. It carries oxygen. So when you breathe, your diaphragm goes up, the air goes into your lungs, and there's a transferring of oxygen to the red blood cells. And those red blood cells start to carry oxygen to the various parts of the body. Now, your body needs oxygen, right? Now, keep in mind, if you have sickle cell, they can't effectively take on oxygen to carry. So, first of all, they can't take oxygen, and then second of all, they clogging up the place, they're clogging up the blood vessels. So it sort of, strikes against you. So when you get the blood transfusion, you have new red blood cells, and you get that new blood, and that's taking oxygen. You're allowed to breathe easier. Individuals who have sickle cell, if you're low, you tend to have shortness of breath. You can't run or do a lot of exercise, heavy lifting heavy boxes, or something, exerting energy. So that was one of also a game changer as well, and that helped me to not have a crisis so frequently that I had in the Bahamas. So another treatment that I got and I still have access to is that I could get a blood transfusion. And I tell you, you know, I have a, I'm really blessed because I'm one of the patients who have their doctor's cell phone in my phone, and all I could do is just text her, and she puts in the order. A nurse comes to my house, take my blood, do the type and cross, and the next day the blood is at my house, and the nurse comes back and she gives me the blood. So
Wow.
I don't have to go to the hospital to get blood. It comes to my house. My wife is right there. She could testify all of this, and that right there is truly a blessing because you know what it is, trying to get a blood transfusion.
Yes.
You gotta go through all these. I mean, there's a bunch of red tape to get blood transfusion, but they put this thing on your hand and they said, this is Anthony McPhee, blood type B positive. Hello, B
Be
positive.
positive.
And they got a whole 9 yards. And when the blood comes, it has a date, it has when it expires. And I have a nurse, a qualified nurse. And guess what? I have a Bahamian nurse. I have a
Keeping it all
I
together.
keep it in the family. I have a Bahamian nurse. Her name is PJ. Shout out to PJ. God
PJ.
bless you. So she comes to our house and she administered the blood, and everything is good, and I'm good to go.
And Anthony's good to go. You heard Anthony's story. Whoa, wow. A lot of emotions here, huh? But all good stuff. Because if you have been diagnosed or know someone that has sickle cell anemia, there is someone out there that is experiencing the same symptoms that you're experiencing. Anthony is someone that has sickle cell anemia. He's 54 years old. He has gone through a whole lot of options for treatment. He has tried different treatments. Next week, we're going to talk with Anthony about the treatment and some of the symptoms that he experienced. And we're going to spend some time showing you some seriously important stuff about what Anthony's going through as he is managing and coping with sickle cell anemia. So next week, you got to stay here for the episode next week because it's going to be really important and it's going to be an eye opener experience as well as a tearjerker for you. Anthony,
Don't
I
miss it.
appreciate you so much. Your stories about the treatment options, the folic acid, the hydroxyurea, the IV pain pills, the blood transfusion. Oh, those are a whole lot of things that most people will never experience in their entire lifetime. And Anthony has experienced all of them and more. Stick around, folks. We'll see you next week because there's more to learn and there's hope out there. Someone else is going through what you're going through, and Anthony is here to tell his story, and he will be here for a long time. We don't decide when Anthony is finished telling his story. The Lord above decides when he's finished telling his story, and he's going to be here for a very long time. You believe that?
Absolutely.
We believe that.
See you next week.
We'll see you next week. Coming up, tips to live longer and live better. I'm Corlette DeVoe with Our Aging Puzzle. Thank you so much for being with us today, Mr. McPhee. We thoroughly enjoy having you. Sincere thank you for your passionate story, your story of hope, your story of inspiration to all who are going to watch this episode. Now let's talk about habits to live longer and live better. We recommend doing 4 things. Every week we tell you 4 things that we recommend. 1, proper diet. A varied diet with healthy foods like fruits, vegetables, lean protein, and whole grains, high in fiber, is really good. Regular exercise. Doesn't matter, a brief session, 15 minutes, moderate exercise can increase and enhance your mood in as little as 5 minutes. So go ahead, release those endorphins because the endorphins are pleasure hormones that make you start feeling better. And 3, reduce stress. Spending time outdoors, turn on the lights, go outside, feel the ray of sunshine. It's going to help you alleviate depressive thoughts, and recharge your body and your mind. And number 4, socialization. Find a social group. Go check out Meetup. Find people who are like things that you like, that share similar interests. Go out and develop new friendships. Engaging in these activities are positive ways to impact your general health, your quality of life, and promote way for you to live longer and live better. So remember, this month our topic was sickle cell disease. We thank our guest again, Elder Anthony McPhee, my dear cousin. It is important to understand sickle cell disease and offer support to those affected by it. So if you have questions and you want to learn more about sickle cell disease, please go to sicklecelldisease.org. And don't forget, our sponsor this week is DG Incorporated. DG Incorporated is a marketing and business development powerhouse providing strategic guidance, business plan writing, business coaching to entrepreneurs around the world. DG Incorporated is an entrepreneur's growth partner to help them build, operate, grow, and repeat. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Our Aging Puzzle, and also our sponsors' YouTube channel at DG Incorporated. And watch us every Friday evening at 8 p.m. on YouTube. Again, we want to thank our guest, Elder Anthony McPhee, for your inspiring story. And we want to see you again next week because we're going to hear more from Anthony McPhee and his inspiring story about how he is living with sickle cell disease. We're going to see you next week. Don't forget. Voila!
I'm Kevin Harrington, an original shark from Shark Tank. DG Incorporated provides coaching services to help entrepreneurs open and grow assisted living facilities and build economic wealth. Visit their website to learn more.